What's up, ASL? It's Gumby back again for the power rankings for the week 6 of the ASL. And today we have a new guest, or like a new host to help me with the power rankings. It's Ian. Hey, dude, what's up?
What's up, everyone? How are you?
Let's get right into it. Starting off at number 14, we both actually have the Washington Wailords, who are, after this week, the only team without a win. So for me, it was kind of no-brainer to put them on that spot. What do you think about it?
Yeah, same here. He has had some close losses. For example, versus TJ, sorry, it was a 2-0, but it just never looked like he had an upper hand or could win the game. Embor just completely rips through his team, and it's like that with a lot of his games, so that's why I put him here.
Yeah. On number 13, we actually have two different teams. I'm starting off with the PC Barcelona on number 13. I put them there because they lost their matchup, while the other two on this slide actually won the matchup, and against good opponents as well. So I just found it fair to put him in the 13th spot, even though it was only third match which he played, because he took obviously over Rucker's team, right? But yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
As the Intermelodics and the Swablues won their games, I just found it fair to put in there.
Yeah, for sure. And the win versus Brad that Malone picked up was really big. But at the same time, there was a fair bit of hacks with the first turn wake-ups. He also has had some really big losses. Worst differential in the league right now, and has also got one less game win than both Shadow and Static. Yeah. So that's why I decided I'd put him a little bit lower than you did.
Yeah, that's fair enough, you know. But I was like, you know, in the last weeks we always like, I always bashed him that he like needs to get his shit together, you know. And now that he won a game, I was like wanting to give him some encouragement to see, if you actually win. But yeah, you know. Anyways, on the
definitely pick up momentum.
Yeah. On number 12, I have the Intermelodics, who won their game against the Hartford Whelmers in a 2-0. But I put them under the Swablues because, like, the Melodic game, like, I don't want to take anything away from his win against TCP, obviously. But he had, like, this gentleman agreement going with only tier B mons. So I felt like his victory wasn't as, I don't know, hard-earned as the one of the Swablues, even though, as you said, it was a pretty hexy win, but yeah. That's why I put him at 12.
I actually put Shadow here. We haven't seen much from him yet. He's only won one, but the game that he did win was filled with a lot of hacks again. He did win fight Hutch, and he sacked his Deoxys really early on in the game, and Deoxys was his only real way of breaking through Hutch's team. So just like some misplays, which I didn't see as much from Static, so I decided, yeah.
And then on number 11, I put the San Luis Swablues, as I said earlier. I kind of wanted to give him a little encouragement, you know, to not put him like so down low after he won against Brad, even though, as you also said, it was kind of hexy, but still a win is a win, I guess. So yeah, I wanted to give him like this extra bit of encouragement, you know, to get those wins going and to keep winning.
I have Static at 11th, and quick spoiler, I've got Ian at 10th. I decided to put Static below Ian, even though they have the same record right now, because the gentleman's agreement did kind of take a little bit away from the win. TCP's tier B isn't quite as strong as his tier A. That makes his draft so threatening to fight, and it's why he's picked up so many wins. So it was still a really well-played game overall, and I could see him like getting a lot more wins from now, but I just thought that it wasn't quite as big of a win because of that gentleman's agreement.
Exactly. Anyways, jumping over to the next slide, I have the Portland Timbers at number 10, and even though they won their week 6 match kind of convincingly 3-0 against the PC Barcelona, it in quotation marks was only the PC Barcelona, which again sounds super rude, sorry for that, but yeah, you know, it's like, I don't want to say it again, but it's only, but you know, it's a win is a win, so I put him there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put Ian here. He's the other 2-4 team right now. He had to fight an undefeated team, so it was a really hard game for him to fight, and he did pick up a 1-0, which was, you know, not as good as what Static got, but I still feel like he's played his games better overall. Static did have that shaky start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they're both very similar, so it's hard to decide between the two.
I agree.
Yeah, I did put Ian a little bit higher. I've actually got...
Oh, sorry.
You can lead.
Coming to number 9 now, though, I had put the Arcanines down there. I just felt like the match against you, the St. George Dragonites, was pretty close, 1-0 victory only for you. And as you're so high up in the standings, I just thought that would be somewhat fairish to put Ian at 9 and Hutch at 10, even though they lost the match, but yeah, like I feel the matchup played much into their role. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've got Hutch at 9th, although the next 4 for me were really close and hard to decide. There's pros and cons to each of them. Hutch is on a 2-game win streak right now, which is really good. But I value the quality of the wins more highly than like win streaks so much. So he hasn't gotten as many good wins. He's beaten, I believe, TG, but the people above have beaten people with better records. So
yeah,
he has had like more respectable losses, I'll say too. He's lost to the current ranked 1 and tied 3rd seed, so that's like a really hard schedule too.
I agree.
It's rough for him.
Anyways, coming to number 8, we actually both have the Utah Hoots, who won against the Phoenix Flyguns, who are a pretty respectable team with a 4 victory, so that was pretty convincingly. Though their record isn't as good as the teams which are higher than them, so that's why I put him at 8.
Yeah, other than Keister, his wins have been against coaches with like not as good records, so it's just also he did lose to you, which means that as far as the playoff races are concerned, head-to-head matters a fair bit, so thought that you had a better record there.
Coming to number 7, and now this probably is going to be a bit controversial, because I'm maybe a bit biased about number 7, number 6, but but yeah, I put the BC Bills down there, and even though they won the matchup against me with 1-0, that match was pretty hexy in TG's favor, and I feel like, and no, that's where it's like biased, I feel like that I had that match without the hex, and would have come out on top. But then again, Hex belongs to Pokemon, like, whatever. Like, water to the ocean, I guess. But, it's probably just a bit salt left over from that week that I put him on 7
definitely agree
and me on 6.
You can't be freezing Exadrills and having heat wave misses like that and still have it be a last hit situation. Like, if you did an Aqua Jet, the Toxicroak would have died to sand and it would have been a 0-0 victory for him. Like, that's just not really as convincing of a win as you'd be expecting with as much hacks as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just, like, the standings show, I still had to put you at 7th.
Yeah.
I placed you below TJ because he's had, like, some really impressive wins recently. You've beaten 2 of the 3 coaches in the, like, major 3-3 playoff race right now, but TJ's beaten like Brad and stuff, so I just thought it was a bit more impressive, so that's why I put him above you.
Yeah, and it's totally fair. As I said, it's like mostly probably just salt that I put me at 6 and him at 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming to that number 6 spot, as I said, I put myself down there because I just felt that without the Hex, I would have won against the BCB Rebels, against TG, but yeah, it's a bit biased, as I said already, but oh well.
Yeah,
I'm a host on PR, so I can do what I want to.
Yeah, you can do what you want, man. Yeah, I put TJ here. He's technically below you in differential and head-to-head, but yeah, more impressive wins. He's been both Brad and TG, sorry. So he's had some close wins though. They're not like as like convincing, but they had big comebacks, so that's why his differential suffered a little bit. And he also had 2 really big losses, so that's why his differential's worse. It's not necessarily worse play per se.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I put him there.
Yeah, Then coming to number 5, I put the slow agreements with TJ there. Mainly, as you said before, like the three of us being TG, TJ, and me are super close to each other at the moment. And while the matchup between me and TG was, as I said, kind of haxy and all that, TJ won pretty convincingly. Well, I mean, he won 2-0 and against the Washington Whalers as well, but, he's still...
That's beside the point.
But, he's still somewhat...
You don't need to bring that up.
But yeah, he still won his game with a 2-0 manner, so I just find it fair to put him on 5.
Yeah, for me, I put TG here. He's had a 4-game win streak, which is quite impressive. But he's had a lot of really haxy games in his favor, and I feel like he's had the weakest performances out of the current 4-2 teams. It's just like icicle crash flinches on Ian and all of the freezes and misses on you. And in your game, he sacked like 3 Pokemon unnecessarily.
Yeah.
He it's just like felt like rushed and lazy play that worked out, in my opinion. He does probably have like the best wins out of the 4-2 teams, but it's just not as convincing to me.
Yeah. Coming to the 4th place, we both have the St. Louis Samurats on there, which came off of that 1-0 loss against the St. Louis Spa Blues, and so I just think that this like the only reasonable place for them, having lost to the worst, like allegedly worst team in the league, right? And but the differential is still so good, and the win-loss also. So I kind of have to put them on that spot.
Both completely tied in differential and win-loss right now. It makes it difficult to decide. But his wins have been less impressive, and I feel like Brad's been making some more obvious misplays. Like what he should have done is clear Smugs the Scrafty rather than switch out hard and risk like him getting hacks. It's like a bit rushed play, I'd say. While Keister lost 50-50s more, he did lose harder, but it was against a better coach.
Exactly. So. Yeah, and that's why we both put him at number 3, I would say. Even though he lost 4-0 to the Utah Hoots, it was still, like, as you said, a better coach than Malone.
I felt like that came more down to Utah Hoots playing well than Keister playing badly.
Fair enough, yeah.
Which I can't say the same so much about Brad Malone. Brad played really well, like, at the start, but at the end he just, like, didn't play quite as well.
Yeah.
It cost him.
But, it's just, in quotation marks, 1 week. You can always come back from that.
They're definitely top contenders for playoffs regardless.
Exactly. Coming to the top 2 spots, where we actually have this difference. I put you on the number 2 spot and not the Hartford Whalers, because like even though you're the only undefeated team in the league, I still feel like if TCP had brought his like full team and hadn't had the gentleman's agreement with the Intermilotics, he would have won that game most likely. Like we obviously can't.
I'd agree with that.
We obviously can't
know for sure though.
Exactly, but I just felt like it's kind of sad that they put this gentleman's agreement thing in week 6, where like stuff still somewhat matters, and like if it would have been week 13, then okay, fine, do whatever you want when everything's already decided. But like in week 6, I feel like it's somewhat, I don't know, somewhat weird. So, but even though you're the only undefeated team, I had to put you on 2 because of that.
Yeah, well, I was really tempted to put TCP first again because he's had just such dominative victories. His differential is insane because of that. And but there's no real way of telling whether he would have won versus Static. Static is a really good coach, even though he hasn't been doing quite as well recently. So
yeah.
And I also believe that it's not just like TCP's great playing. It's like in part there's some lackluster prep from his opponents. There's some noticeable holes in the team that can be exploited. That I'm not going to list here. Respect the coach. I don't want to give everyone an advantage necessarily, and I don't want to give TCP knowledge of what I'm going to bring versus him. But I just think that some people are slacking a little bit on that, and yeah, it's just like the records show what the records show. You can't, for me at least, I couldn't justify putting them above myself when I was still the only undefeated team.
Which is totally fair, and but yeah, we'll see maybe next week how this pans out. If you
little bias,
if you win against the Yuda Hoots, or if TCP wins against the BC Bibarels, but yeah, that's next week. We don't have to worry about that now. So yeah, I was thank you for joining us for the Power Rankings for Week 6, guys. Thank you to Ian for jumping in and doing this with me.
Yeah, no problem.
He's probably you're going to do this every week now, right?
What was that?
You're going to do this every week now, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, hope you guys liked it, and we'll see you guys next week for Week 7. And until then, bye.
See ya.